What's up, everybody? It's your boy JP here again, and today I got the Honor Watch Magic. This is basically Honor's version of the Huawei Watch GT. These watches do not run Wear OS. They run Huawei's new IoT OS, their Internet of Things OS, if you will. They call LiteOS, LITE. And it's Linux based to my knowledge, and it works very well. Very well. It's extremely efficient. It has all of the same features. I could see why if I do consider the GT to be the Huawei Watch 2's successor. To me, it doesn't have to run, the same OS as the predecessor to be a successor, but it remains to be seen if Huawei does in fact release another watch that runs Wear OS. I don't necessarily have a problem with Wear OS. The thing that I don't like about Wear OS is that I have multiple phones, and that doesn't always mean that I have multiple watches. And I like a lot of those Chinese smartwatches, like the ones from Lemfo, those LEMs that run full Android, not Android Wear. The reason why I like those so much is because you can just swap them to and from other phones without having to reset the entire watch. And that's my preference. There are ways to do that on Wear OS, but you have to root the watch. And you have to use the Android SDK on your PC. And I don't really like getting into all that. I've done it before. It takes a while, and it's just not worth it. I like this watch a lot. I just posted up another video for the Fossil Sports smartwatch with the Snapdragon Wear 3100 chipset. And out of the two, I like this more. I really do. It's not by a huge margin. They have a lot of the same features. They have NFC. They have great GPS, great battery life. Of course, this watch's battery life, though, is light years ahead, though. I've worn the thing all day. I used the GPS when I went running earlier, and I barely put a dent in the battery. The other thing that I'm not crazy about, but I know it's something that they can add in the future, is an always-on display. I'm going to turn it on here. And I'm going to go to the apps here. It has your typical app drawer. A lot of features. Now, if you go back and go to the shade here, just like Android Wear, go figure, it has a thing here to show time. What it does, though, is the screen is only always on for 5 minutes. Now, I have this right now connected to an iPhone. For those of you that have used Wear OS on an iPhone before, the features are a lot more limited than they are when you use it on an Android phone. So, I haven't hooked this up to an Android phone yet. I'm really anticipating my OnePlus 6T McLaren on Tuesday, hopefully Monday, before I hook this up to an Android phone. But maybe hooking it up to the Android phone it'll have access to more features like always on. I'm not sure. I doubt it, honestly. I did watch a video on this watch, and the person that was reviewing this watch actually used the OnePlus 6T. Go figure. And they had enabled that same feature where it's always on for 5 minutes. So, I know that they're trying to get the most battery life possible, but this thing already sips battery. It does have the wrist gesture, just like most smartwatches have, where you move your gesture and it turns the screen on. I don't like that, though, because it always gets turned on. It gets turned on more accidentally than it's supposed to. And smartwatches have always done that. Wear OS is guilty. Apple Watch is guilty. your full-blown Android-powered Chinese smartwatches are guilty. This watch is guilty. But all in all, I really dig Huawei's IoT system, the LiteOS. It's awesome. It's great. It is so simple to connect this to your phone. It is so simple. You don't have to go through the hoops that you have to go through with Wear OS. It's just like those Lemfo watches that I keep referring to. But this is from an actual well-known brand. This is actually Honor's first smartwatch. A lot of their watches are just bands. They do have circular, quote-unquote smartwatches, but they're still more smart bands just with round faces. This is an actual smartwatch from Honor, but again, it's just a rebadged Huawei Watch GT. There is a couple of differences. The differences are the screen size. This has a 1.2-inch AMOLED, whereas the Huawei GT smartwatch has a 1.39-inch display. But this still displays the same resolution and the same pixels per inch. So, well, technically, if it's the same resolution but smaller, the pixels per inch are actually going to be more. That's what I was trying to say. So really, from a distance, this screen is going to look higher res, in other words. And it will use less battery because of that. But like I said, the battery just sips on this thing. It is really nice. The other difference that I know of, too, is the build quality. The Huawei Watch GT is made of ceramic, whereas this watch is the 316 stainless steel. It also has a really nice, texture. I don't know if you can see that going around the watch right there. That real nice texture. I love it. It's super thin, and I love this band. They got hose for every single, if I could talk straight, they got hose for every single wrist size. Look at all those sensors. The heart rate monitoring on this watch is amazing. It's better than the Fossil Sport. The Fossil Sport is still great, though. The GPS on this is equal, I would say. And, it works great. The bands are interchangeable, just like the Fossil. It uses the quick tabs. So the GPS isn't built into the bands, which I like. I do want to get a black metal band for this watch. I think it'll complement it really well. And I do. The watch is so easy to use, minimalistic. It has an actual OS. It's something different. It's from a brand that I love. Honor, besides the Nexus 6P, it was Honor that I got my love for Huawei at. And oftentimes I still go back to Honor because they offer the same devices for cheaper. And it's not even months later. It's literally just a couple weeks later a lot of times. This watch, as you can tell by the material, does come in Chinese. But you'll use the Huawei Health app on both the iPhone and Android. And when you download that app, it's going to automatically set to the language that your phone is set in. So, for example, if it's set in English, the app is going to be in English. When you set the watch up to the app, and you do everything from the app, you just turn the watch on and that's it. It's going to be in Chinese when you first turn it on, but you're not going to do anything from the watch. You're going to do it all from the app. By the time the watch is set with the phone, it's all in English. It looks like they may even bring this watch to the US because if you go into the watch's settings and you go into its regulatory screen, it shows that it has a FCC ID for the United States. So, remains to be seen. Maybe Honor will bring this out in the US when they bring out the Honor 8X, because I hope they bring that out. The Honor 7X has now been out in the US for a year now, as of the 15th. It's really weird that I remember that exact date that I got it last year. Of course, it didn't come out on Amazon until a month later, but Honor's website had already been selling it by then. But I'm hoping they bring the 8Xs here. I'd love to see them. Hopefully the 8X Max and the 8X, but at least hopefully just the 8X red, hopefully, fingers crossed. But I hope they may bring this watch out with it. I would love to see it. I think it's hot. And it is significantly cheaper than the GT, and the differences I don't think are worth the the price increase for the Huawei Watch GT. I mean, I think this is the better deal. Another thing that I love about this watch, there's only one other smartwatch that I know has this right now. I mentioned this same smartwatch for a totally different reason when I did my overview for the Fossil Sport. And now I'm talking about the LG W7. The LG W7 was the first smartwatch that I know of that uses USB Type-C instead of micro USB. Well, this watch uses USB Type-C. Imagine that. Here's the cradle. Boom. That's just so awesome to me. That's so awesome. Just going to show you the watch there. Kind of zoom in on it a little bit there. The material of the box is beautiful, I think. But that's my overview there, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Got questions? Let me know. Hit me up. And I will have a video up on Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday the latest, for the McLaren Edition OnePlus 6T with 10 gigs of RAM. So y'all stay tuned. Peace.